How's it, everybody? Welcome back to part two for Brayden and Bangers. Check out part one for our Super Bowl or not conference
Champion.
round just predict or reactions. But yeah, we're just gonna jump into head coaching hires. I believe all the head coaches finally got spots got filled. So we had two left. We had the Seahawks and the Commanders. Check out last week's video for the rest of them, our reactions to those. But we'll jump into these two. We'll start with the Seattle Seahawks. With the Ravens getting eliminated, they were finally able to hire defensive coordinator Mike McDonald to be their new head coach. So, throw this one over to you.
Yeah, it was I like this hire. It's definitely a good one. I did think it could happen. Didn't know what direction they're obviously leaning in, if they're going to go offensive play caller or stick to a defensive mind head coach. So I kind of had a feeling they're going to stay with the defensive side, but overall it's a good signing. And well, they're trying to keep up with McVay and Shanahan, and this is the guy that has found ways to stop it, boss. Just kind of keep them at bay. Obviously, he's not. He might not have the same success, seeing as he ain't gonna have that talent in Baltimore. But I think it's worth a shot. Give him a chance. He's proven he could do it once, multiple times. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a great hire, at least for both sides. Gets his chance at being a head coach for the Seahawks, and I agree with you. I think the Seahawks definitely wanted a defensive-minded coach. They've kind of been built on that. That's where they found their success. So, made sense they looked for a defensive coordinator. But I like this. I mean, that Seahawks defense is super young and a lot of talent around there. And I mean, we saw what McDonald has done for the Ravens these last few years. I mean, a lot of young players on that defense for the Ravens too. A little bit more veterans than the Seahawks, but I mean, still got a lot of. I mean, just a lot of production out of young guys. We saw what Kyle Hamilton has been able to do these last few seasons, and just Patrick Queen has not been the greatest, but I mean, he's kind of been playing Robin to Roquan Smith. But yeah, I love this hire for him and this job for him. I mean, like I said, a lot of young talent that he gets to work with. Really great team, decent draft pick. I mean, they didn't make playoffs, so has a lot to work with and great organization and plenty of offense to kind of make up for not being an offensive minded coach. So yeah, no complaints here. Yeah, we'll jump into the next one, and that is Dan Quinn, the new coach for the Commanders. We also, like we said in the earlier video, Ben Johnson is going to be staying with the Lions, so they lost out on that. So they looks like they kind of settled with Dan Quinn, who was is he defensive coordinator for the
Cowboys.
Cowboys
Yeah.
last season? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not biggest fan of this hire. I don't. He's been a head coach before, right?
Yes. Yeah. Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah. So not the greatest record. I don't I don't feel like he's a culture builder, which they really needed in Washington. I feel like that team doesn't too much have an identity. At least great news for them is they got a defensive coach, so they probably are going to keep the enemy at offensive coordinator, which I think is a great move. But I don't know how much of a big fan I am Dan Quinn being the head coach, but we know what the Commanders are. This is the greatest organization, probably kind of bottom of the barrel if you're a head coach looking for a job. So you get what you get when you have that kind of reputation, but not that excited or not. Don't hate it too much. Kind of just another signing by the Commanders that I feel like we're just going to be back in this position again in maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we definitely will. This seemed like more of a panic move, saying that they're gonna get Ben Johnson. So yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this. Not just because it's the Commanders, but like you missed out on your top guy. It seemed like they didn't really have any other options. So yeah, they just pretty much go with Dan Quinn. Which thank you for taking him away from Dallas, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see this working out long term. Probably out like you said, 2 3 years, and they're probably going to be chasing after an offensive minded guy. Honestly,
Who knows? Maybe by then Kennedy still doesn't have a job, and they finally just promote him. But I feel like that was probably the greatest news about the signing, was just being able to keep the enemy. And yeah, I mean, taking him away from Dallas, I'm not. I feel like it might be better for Dallas to get rid of him. But personally, I feel like that defense is just kind of ran through Michael Parsons. I mean, we know what he is. And when you have a talent like that, I mean, it's really hard to mess up a defense, in my opinion, when you just have a game wrecker.
I don't know about that. I say that because yeah, Eagles just had they have a lot of talent on the D line. Nope, nothing could happen over there. But I get what you mean though. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a great D line, but you guys don't have the guy, in my opinion.
Yes.
Star
Sure.
Lord's amazing. Probably he's borderline there, but yeah, I can't put him in that category yet.
Yeah, I get it. But no, I think that the defense is gonna will take a step back. Back when I think he changed a bit from his times in Atlanta and Seattle. So I kind of thought he was ready, and then he got blown up by Dallas. So that's when I was like, all right, I guess he might not be ready.
Yeah, like you said, not a great hire. Our opinions from the Commanders could be wrong, but
Oh,
yeah, I mean it's gonna be tough.
so I might just bring it up now because you said maybe they'll go with Bieniemy as the OC. So the rumor that I seen was they're interested in bringing Chip Kelly to be their OC.
Where is he? Where's the
UCLA
OC?
head coach. UCLA head coach. He's been there for the last couple of years.
I mean, he kind of had success in the league. He's kind of waited out the news and people remembering how bad he was. But it sounds like a Commanders move. I mean, yeah, I can't chalk it up to anything more than that. I knew you were excited to hear him coming back to the NFL, especially in your division.
That would be fun. That would be real fun. But I feel like he'd be better, obviously, as an OC. Um, Last time, obviously, he was in the league. He thought it was college. He was dealing with students, kids. That he's dealing with adults, and yeah, his either his system or you're out. And yeah, as we know, that didn't work out. So I would think that mindset change, going to UCLA, getting humbled like that. I think he could be an OC, but we'll see if that happens or not. I don't really see it happening. I think he'll stick with UCLA.
I can't be getting rid of the enemy for that. I thought the enemy had a decent year. I mean, with what he had to work with, but great note for Chip Kelly if he does go there. I mean, first he's not going to be the head, but second they don't have pieces that he can trade away to everybody. So I guess that's the one positive. But yeah, yeah, that pretty much wraps up the ending of the at least the head coaching positions. A lot of coordinators got signed. We're just going to talk about our teams for now, just 'cause there's a lot around the league getting signed. I mean, pretty much everyone with a new head coach brings in their own staff, so it's a lot of to go into. But we'll start with our teams. I'll start with mine since it's going to be a little bit shorter since we only hired one. But yeah, Steelers hire Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator, replacing at least Matt Canada. We hadn't at least halfway through the season, but yeah, let's dive into this. We'll be honest, I was not a huge fan of this when I first kind of heard about it. I was kind of mad. I mean, I said it last week. I was kind of hoping for the enemy to get out of there and come over here. I probably would have even take Cliff Sperry, even him over at Arthur Smith. But the more I look into it, I'm actually kind of getting excited. Yes, we know what he did with Atlanta. It wasn't good, especially on offense with just not using the talent he had around him. So that doesn't give me the most faith. But just looking back when he was just an OC, I thought he had a great resume. I mean, he was with the Tennessee Titans for I think 3 years, especially during the run when they made it to the AFC Championship game, and we know Ryan Tannehill was kind of almost being in that Kirk Cousins vein during that time. A lot of people had him moving up boards just how well he was playing under him, and even Derrick Henry took a huge leap. So I kind of like that. I mean, he's probably going to use more two tight end sets, 12 personnel. So, which I really wanted this year, which Matt Canada never implemented. So, he seems like he fits what the Steelers want. We want to run the ball. We want to play big. We wanted a coach who has pretty much experience in this league and a history of success, and he kind of fit the bill. So I'm not mad about this. I like it. I would love to see Darnell Washington and Pat Fryermuth on those outsides and us running Najee and Jalen Warren down the middle. And I mean, I think this is an offense similar to that Tennessee Titans, but a little bit better. I think we do need to kind of improve our offensive line, which I think is going to be the main focus for them. But we have the weapons on the outside. Like we had AJ Brown. I don't know if you like this, but we have George Pickens, who I think is going to be better.
Don't even.
But
Don't even.
and we have Deontay, who is, I mean, I think we can all agree is better than what Corey Coleman or
Yeah, it was
I don't
Corey
know,
Coleman.
was it Coleman? I
Coleman.
thought there was
Yeah.
another guy.
You're probably thinking of Julio came later, like what 1 year, but it was Corey Coleman.
Corey Coleman, yeah. So a lot more talent. I mean, we don't have the Derrick Henry, so that's. But I like our tandem, so I'm excited to see what he does. He's definitely gonna get at least probably 2 years. Hopefully he can work with Kenny. I mean, this is probably the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks he worked with. I mean, in Atlanta, he had Desmond Ritter and Marcus Mariota. Who, I mean, Ritter was a third round pick, which you don't expect much from a third round quarterback. And Marcus Mariota never really got to show what he had for this league, for showing his full potential. And I mean, never really was that kind of game for quarterbacks. So definitely a lot more to work with. And I mean, he's only OC now, so he gets to specialize in what he's kind of worked on to his whole probably career. So I like it. I'm a fan. I keep talking myself into it more and more each day. So yeah,
I
excited.
I agree with you. I liked it. It was a good signing because I'm just thinking of it as he's the OC. He's not gonna have control over roster, right? Like he's just the play caller, so you ain't gonna be having to be worried about I don't know who your third string tight end is, but obviously yeah, him getting like 3 touchdowns the first 5 weeks of the year, you ain't gonna have to worry about that. His offense will run through Najee and Jalen Warren. That's probably the best part. You guys have a great tandem right there. So um, just running, like you said, beef up the O line a little bit more. Get the run game going through them. Heavier packages with the tight ends. Washington get to play alongside Firemouth, and yeah, I kind of think it's you guys' offense will look a lot better. Hopefully, Kenny can turn things around, or I don't know, maybe it's another quarterback. We'll save that for another episode. But yeah, I like it. Only thing, I don't know if George Pickens will like it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think he's too good not to fit anywhere, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a great hire. I mean, yeah, offensive coordinator is not head coach; it's a different position. So I think he'll do better.
Exactly.
Our third, our third tight end is also Connor Hayward, who pretty good. Probably will get some touches more than he probably should, but I'm fine with that. He's kind of
Yeah,
one of the
but
extra
not
few plays. But
not out snapping tight end one right on your team.
no,
Yeah,
he should not be out snapping people.
you shouldn't be worried about that. I feel pretty confident about that.
Uh, Only thing I need from him is just 12 personnel. I want to see Darnell and Pat Fryermuth on the field together, and I'll be happy. I think that'll be success. And yeah, Kenny should simplify the offense, having to play through play action kind of the offense I thought we would have this year. So hopefully he sticks to that method and can find more success.
Kirk Cousins, baby.
But we're definitely not getting Kirk. I promise you that. I would be shocked if we got Kirk Cousins.
All right, Justin Fields.
But I was kind of hoping for it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll talk about that another time, closer to free agency and all that. But yeah, so next we'll just jump over to your team. You guys signed two coordinators to fill offensive and defense. So I guess we'll just start with your offense coordinator, Kellen Moore, former see culture offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
Coordinator. Coordinator for Chargers and Dallas.
So I'll throw it over to you.
And former was it Boise State quarterback?
That doesn't really anything, but yeah.
I just meant the Hawaii tie thing that white people might recognize it if they, yeah, if they followed it back then. But obviously, yeah, I like it. Definitely would prefer him over Brian Johnson that we just had. I'm I'm a little hesitant. Like I said, I like it, but normally when we hire somebody from Dallas, it normally doesn't work out. But that's normally players. We never really brought on coaches, so I'm not too sure. But I don't think it's. I think it'll be fine. Honestly, I think he'll be good. The one thing I do like is he's gonna be. He's a part of this modern offensive coordinator like boom, right? Like all these young, fresh ideas coming from these coaches, and I think that's kind of what we needed instead of just kind of just sticking in the past type of thing. Like he'll be running motion, lots of play action, under center, shotgun, all that kinds of stuff. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. But I think one thing he might have to learn from, not necessarily Sirianni in a sense, but our O line coach, because he's a running game coordinator. Yeah, Kellen Moore needs to learn how to run the ball because that's the one thing I've seen from his time in mainly in LA, I guess, that one year. Eckler had a bad year, right? They had no running game at all. So he has the O line for it. Definitely has, I think, they're capable backs. We'll see who our running backs are, but the O line, I think, will be good, even without Kelsey. It'll take a dip, but still. But yeah, I think that's one thing I'm kind of worried about a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the signing. Kind of disagree. I think he's fine. I think he knows how to run the ball. I mean, we've seen in Dallas when he has that kind of running game, he used it a lot. I think that was pretty much Pollard's kind of big year and Zeke's kind of when they were splitting backs, and he get both of them. And I mean, Eckler, I've always said, is just not a good running back. He's a great receiving back. I mean, kind of been that throughout his whole career. If I look at his stats, I don't think he has one season over 1,000 rushing yards. So it's I don't think he had a down year in rushing too much. I think he just had a down year as a receiving back. That's why, at least for fantasy players, they know what I'm talking about if they had him on the team. But yeah, I liked him. I liked him a lot in Dallas. Kind of disappointed a little bit with the Chargers, but I thought that offense was still great. I mean, we saw Keenan Allen having
Yeah,
resurgence of the year. And I mean, you did have Justin Herbert, so a little skewed when you have that QB. But again, he's going to have Jalen Hurts, another top end QB, and better weapons with AJ Brown and Fonte Smith and Goddard. So a lot more weapons. Um, offensive line is still better than the Chargers. Probably not going to be as good, like you said, with losing Kels. Probably going to have to figure out a little bit more on how to get that run game established. That's definitely a huge piece, future Hall of Famer. But yeah, I like the signing. I think it was a great one.
yeah. I'll probably warm up a lot more to it when we get closer to the next season. But overall, I like it. Not too excited, and I'm definitely not mad about it. I like it.
Then with that, we'll jump into your next head coaching signing. You guys also signed Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator. I'll just throw this over to you to talk about since you definitely have more knowledge on this than I do.
Yeah, he's actually supposed to be our coordinator last year, but Jonathan Gann screwed us because he said he was staying, and then he ended up. Yeah, he ended up not staying. Obviously, he said he was staying. Um, he got hired by the Dolphins, and then he pretty much just bounced to Arizona. So he came 1 year later. So it was meant to be. But yeah, I love this one. Obviously, this whole time they've been trying to hire his disciples, guys from the Fangio tree, but now we got the teacher, the guy that I mean, not to say created the system, but I mean, made it more popular. So that I'm very excited for. That you get the actual teacher. So and he's been in the league for a while. Was with Denver, Chicago. Has had success with all these defenses. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I just don't know how the personnel thing is gonna go with him needing more linebackers and safety because as Eagles fans know, our organization does not prioritize that in the drafts and free agency. So we'll find out how that's going to happen.
Um, Not too much with you on this one. I don't hate it. I don't love it, to be honest. I think Vic Fangio is a good DC. Definitely think this is kind of not high ceiling, but definitely very high floor, in my opinion. And he showed that he has success as a defensive coordinator. Definitely on the server side, a lot on his resume. So very knowledgeable. Yeah, I'm not, yeah, kind of 50-50 on this. You guys have talent, so we'll see what he can do with it. I don't think he'll have too many excuses besides, like you said, this safety and linebacker group not being the greatest, but we'll see what you guys do. I mean, still got an off season to change what you guys have in there, but yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. I don't really definitely think high floor decision by you guys, but I think limited ceiling in my opinion.
He'll either be here for a very long time because he's from he's from the area. That's why he wanted to just kind of stay there. So he'll either be here for a long time or he'll get into an argument about personnel, like just like how he exited Miami. That's kind of why they parted ways because I guess he wanted his guys or just guys that fit his system, and Miami didn't really give it to him. So yeah, two options: he either stays long or yeah, it doesn't work out because he wants a little bit of power, which understandable. Yes, but yeah,
I mean, we'll see to this next season because I know people are already calling Sirianni on the hot seat. So
yeah. We'll find out how this whole coaching goes next year, all across the board. Head coach, OCDC. So
that's again, usually when you lose the head coach, usually the whole staff changes. But yeah, that's something we'll just have to watch next season to find out. But yeah, you got anything else on your hires?
nope. We'll find out. I mean, just tempering expectations. I don't want to get too excited, but overall, I like it.
Uh, well, that'll wrap up pretty much this video where we go over the head coachings and Steelers and Eagles at least coordinator positions. Said check out the part one if you want to go over the conference week championship games, reactions, just how the teams did. And yeah, check out part three. We're gonna go over fifth year options and maybe look at 2021 draft class. Who could get that fifth year accepted, picked up, who shouldn't. But yeah, till then, oops.
Shoots.